A miracle. I'm so grateful and so thankful to be here. I'm going to take a minute to introduce this topic, what we're talking about, and introduce our guests, Lori and Jeff. And I want to take a minute before we get into talking with them, as people are sort of streaming in, to tell you about Rythmia. Rythmia is a life advancement center in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. And Life Advancement Center, I think Lori and Jeff will be able to tell you why we call it Life Advancement. But it's a life advancement center because what happens here is people come into a more authentic expression of who they are, which moves them ahead in their lives. Didn't you kind of agree with that?
Correct.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, cool. I'm glad they said yes. I didn't know that they would say yes. That was an offhanded question. But this is an offhanded and unrehearsed conversation. I know a little bit about Lori and Jeff because we spent the week together and I got to teach some classes. But the thing that's most important and most profound about this this place, Rythmia, is people come here for the same reason every week, to see who they've become, to merge with their soul, and to heal their heart. And it happens for everybody in a unique and different way, but it's always the same thing. But as spirit is infinite and has no need for duplication, it's always a unique and individual experience, even though it's the same thing every week. So I'm here and excited to share with you about Lori and Jeff's experience. So we have a couple. They're married. How long have y'all been married?
31 years.
31 years. It's a long time.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. And where are you from?
The DFW area.
Yeah, Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas.
Mm-hmm. I was talking to Jeff earlier, and he kind of grew up, so to speak, in El Paso, Texas, mm-hmm. which is where my mama is from. And so it was nice to have that connection.
Yeah.
So tell me, what brought you here? Why did you decide to come to Rythmia?
Why don't you answer that one?
Well, me personally is I felt like I was guided to this person that I met that introduced me to the ayahuasca, because I really didn't know a lot about it, but I was meant to do it. And when I did do it, I didn't expect the profound experience that I had with it. Because with my first experience, I felt like that Spirit was showing me what I needed to see for myself. And what was shown to me was, of course, I was able to meet my higher self. And then I find myself in this lotus flower blooming. And then I see all of these symbols, beautiful colors, flying around my head everywhere I went, looked, and it was just beautiful. The colors were beautiful. And then, I shot up into the stars. And it wasn't anything that I expected. Not even close, and here the same thing. It's just with the medicine, it's like it guides you to what you need to learn about yourself. And maybe see some things that you really have become that's not so appealing, so that you can see what you've become and see what you need to do in order to be that better person, or to make these profound changes in your life to be that profound person.
What was the call that brought you here? Like, you had this experience with ayahuasca previous, you went to a ceremony, it was profound. And then what had you say, like, I like to ask, like, what was the prayer, or what was the intention? Like, I want to go there for this. What was it?
Mine was to be, to experience or to learn more about myself, so that I could become more of my authentic self, and not the person that I thought I should be.
That's beautiful. That's it. Brother, what about you? What was the thing, other than my wife thought it was a good idea?
Well, I mean, at the individual at the prior to the ceremony there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I listened to the person that was putting on that program and putting together that ceremony, and I was caught by the fact that it's about healing the heart and the soul and expanding your life to be true to yourself and to others.
Yes.
And when Lori told me about her experience, she told me that she wanted me to do that, and she began researching places that where we could have a deeper experience, and all roads led to rythmia. I mean, it literally did. I mean, when it keeps popping up and you start looking at the alternatives, this was the place that there was no doubt that where we needed to go. And we looked at the we looked at the reviews, we looked at the timing and all that, and it was just no doubt that if we're going to take this step for a personal betterment, for personal growth, spiritually in particular, that this is where we were going to go. And so that's how we got here.
I'm really interested to know, like, everybody's doing ayahuasca these days. Basically, like, there's somebody in Dallas Fort Worth, someone in Hoboken, there's somebody, like, everybody's got a shaman that's visiting and doing a ceremony. But there's something very different about one or two ceremonies over the course of a weekend with a visiting shaman and the container of a retreat. So you've had the experience of, like, okay, I did this ceremony, it was profound. And then you've also had the experience of being at a week-long retreat where there were 4 ceremonies, 3 breathwork ceremonies, classes, yoga, meditation, being apart and retreating from life completely for a week, and being with a group of people that you in the community setting, all of these things that you get at a retreat. What would you say, how would you define the difference between the one, like, individual ceremony versus, like, the container of the retreat?
Me personally, I like the experience here because of all the people that we were able to meet, and everybody was so friendly, and everybody became friends. And it was, there was no judgment, there was no anything that was detrimental to the trip, because it was just, like I said, we met so many people from all over the world that came here and traveled thousands and thousands of miles.
Right.
But we had really such a profound, fun experience too, with all the people that we met, and made lots of friends, and laughed a lot. We cried a lot. We danced a lot. It was just, there was no, like I said, there was no judgment, and everybody just had a great time, and everybody enjoyed each other's company. And it was just an experience that I've never really experienced before.
Let me add something.
Yeah, please.
There's a proverb in the Bible that says iron sharpens iron. And what that means is groups of people coming together with the same goal individually grow together. I feel like I've been on a team with all of these people that have been here, not just the staff. The staff's been fantastic. Yeah. You've been fantastic. The shamans have been fantastic. But all of the other people, you find out pretty quickly that we're all here dealing with many of the same things. They're going to be different stories, but the root cause of why we're here is all pointed in one direction.
Man, isn't it the truth?
And it's beautiful. It's, number one, it's to the extent that you thought there was something wrong with you, you find out, there really isn't anything wrong with me. I'm just dealing with the world. And I've taken all this stuff in, and it's become an idol, and I don't want to let go of it. And it's keeping me from my spiritual self. It's keeping me from my Lord and Savior, because it's an idol. I've got all this pain that sometimes I didn't even know that I had. And everybody else here, every person I've talked to is feeling the same thing. And you're just pulling together, and you're rooting for each other. I can't tell you how many times, somebody would have their miracle and they would be talking about it, and everyone would say, congratulations. And there'd be hugs, and there'd be, accolades thrown at them, but not because of anything they'd done. It's because of the grace that they had received. And that was iron sharpens iron.
I love so much of what you just mentioned. First of all, is that we're all going, like, so many different stories. And a lot of people feel like, oh, yeah, but my story is so real. No, but you don't understand this thing that I went through, right? And what you said that was so impactful for me and resonated with me was it's all essentially the same thing. We're dealing with what it is to be human.
Yeah.
And the other piece was about our idols. And, that biblical phrase, we shall not worship false idols. And we think that idol is the golden calf but what you so
Exactly.
brilliantly said, the idol is our story,
That's
our
exactly
pain,
right.
our suffering, our identification with that which isn't really us,
That's right.
And that's what we get to give up.
That's exactly right. That was my story this week.
Tell me more about that.
Well, I have been working on different things about my life. Thought I'd let go of a lot of things, and had, but didn't realize that there were still some deep roots that were driving me at times to have anger issues. It drove me to have insecurity issues. My reaction to them was anger and insecurity. I don't want to say they drove me to that. That was my reaction. And what I learned is that I hadn't been willing to let it go because I was clinging to it. And because I was clinging to it, that was keeping me from reaching my true spiritual self, my relationship with my Lord and Savior, my relationship. How can I help others if I'm sitting there worshiping my idol, which would be my pain? And, you, for example, you don't understand. This is what happened to me. And I needed to let all that go. And we can get into this a little bit more if you want, but ayahuasca showed me, and God showed me how to let it go and how to keep it from coming back. And I will tell you, there's some freaky things that happen in these ceremonies, but the thing
In a good way.
In a great way.
No, it's crazy though.
It is crazy, but ayahuasca knows what you need.
Yes.
That's what's crazy.
But the tool that I was given was like, well, how come I didn't figure that out? I mean, it's so obvious that was the answer. And the next thing I knew, I was being cleansed. So.
And uplifted.
Tell me about your story of what your miracle was.
Well, that first night, I really didn't have anything. I got nada. So I was kind of disappointed, especially after my first experience. It was so profound. So I'm like, I wonder what's going on here. So, but I didn't really dwell on it too much, So I went into the second ceremony, and halfway through it, I just kind of started feeling that I was stuck. That nothing was happening for me. I wasn't getting any insights. I wasn't getting anything. So I went back up and talked to one of the shamans, and I said, I really feel stuck. And so what should I do? And he's like, well, you need to do another shot. So I said, okay. So I did. And then as soon as I went back to my place, I didn't even know if I was going to be able to make it to my bucket to purge the stuff that I needed to purge. And it was such a profound purge. It was kind of scary. But it's what I would have needed to get rid of all of the issues that I have been holding back inside me, and to let it go and just be me and be my authentic self, and not worry about what people think about me, not worried about what I need to do to please other people, because the person at the end of the day who I need to please is myself, and be my authentic self. And that's what it showed me. And it was great.
And would you say that, like, that's, you saw some aspect of who you'd become, which was really this facade of fitting in, of being pleasing, making ourselves pleasing, which is such a human thing. Don't we all identify with that? And then you were able to step into that merger of stepping into your authentic self, and then forgiving yourself for all
of it.
Right?
Yeah.
That's powerful. And that's what we call a miracle. Brother, you were wanting to say something.
Yeah, the thing that was so it was so simple that I can't believe it just tells you. I mean, there was a lot of deep seated things. My first night, I came here. I shot into space. I went past the moon, and I had, my intention was to show me what I'd become, and I kept praying about that. Show me what I'd become, and by golly, I got to see what I'd become, and I didn't like it. And it wasn't that I'm a bad man. It wasn't that I'd done anything bad, but it wasn't what I thought I was. And then, and so I'm, and basically, I have to tell you this because it's really funny. I get shot up and I'm staring at an emoji of myself. But it was perfect because it showed that, yeah, you're 80 or 90% totally authentic, but there's 10 to 20% of you that's not. And that 10 to 20% is what's holding you back. It's what's separating you. And that's become an idol. And then I said, well, all right, how do I recover my soul? And what ayahuasca said to me was, we're going to get to that. You're not ready yet. And I came back. And I wasn't disappointed because I figured that if someone is going to show me that and it's going to be so profound, I knew I was in the right place. Well, long story short, the next night, I was really angry going into it, and the medicine was working in me to get me to confront some things and to deal with some things and to have conversations that I have not had and that have needed to be had with my parents, just to be blunt about it. And it's a long story, but a lot of people have similar, family members or others. And, after about an hour and a half after the first shot, it was as if God and Lady Ayahuasca came up to me and said, all right, you've done it. You never felt you had the opportunity to clear the air. Air's cleared. And there was a box there. And all of those problems were in that box, but there was a deal that was made. And this was fascinating. I had to make a bargain.
Okay.
And that bargain was, I'm going to take all this stuff away from you. But all the happiness that was with those people, it's going into the box too. Now, the love, there was a heart above the box. The love is there. You loved them, they loved you. But we are not going to allow all of this negativity to pollute you again. And so the bargain is that box stays closed. That means anything that was great, it's in the box. It is, and that's fine. The box stays closed, and you can drag that box out and you can open it and share, so long as it doesn't affect you emotionally, as long as you can be rational about it. But the second you become irrational about it, you got to close the box. And what I found out is that my soul was in that box. That was it. My soul had been trapped in that box. That box has been there for forever. But my soul was there. And so that's why the box has to stay closed. It cannot be open unless I couldn't do it now because I'd be emotional about it, right? And a lot of other things happened. But at the end of that vision, my soul was there. And I got it back. And that other 10 to 20% of me that was an emoji was filled. And I've been telling Lori, we started to have a conversation. I said, no, I got to keep that box closed. And that's just how it's going to be. And it's, right now, that's changed my life. I can be me again.
Okay, I'm a little confused because I want to make sure I understand this. That's so powerful. Thank you. But you say I got to keep that box closed. maybe your soul was in that box and that was supposed to be being protected. Now you got your soul back and you closed the box, but you got your soul.
My soul's here.
Soul's here.
Soul's here.
Not in the box.
Not in the box.
Got it.
My soul was in that box, which is why, the people pleaser was coming out. That the inauthentic me was that portion. Like I said, 80% of my life is purely authentic. There was 10 to 20% that, in my opinion, was not. And the box has to stay closed because that's the reason why I was given the opportunity to say, all right, you here's your chance. There's a lot of things that you wanted to say, you haven't said them. You felt like you got cheated. When I feel like you're done saying what you need to say, then we're going to move on. That's what I was getting. And this went on for an hour and a half, and all of a sudden I paused and I kind of looked around, and I really did. I felt like something grabbed me and whisked me away. I looked back and that box was closed.
Beautiful.
It's unbelievable.
Powerful. Lori, anything you want to add? Anything that for you?
Well, when I had that purge, it was like a big weight was just lifted off my shoulders. It was like, oh my gosh, I've been carrying that crap around for all this time that I didn't need to. And it was just the most profound healing for me to have that revelation that I've been carrying this crap for so long. And letting it go was so liberating. I think I danced around for, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours after that. I was celebrating myself more than anything, just because I was able to have that revelation. And yes, I feel like my soul was healed.
So beautiful. And what I also love is, Lori shared with me that you're a Reiki practitioner, for 20 years. So you have a sense and connection with spirituality.
Oh yeah.
Right. And Jeff has mentioned several times just in his sharing about his Lord and Savior, right, which is a very Christian.
Absolutely.
Right. So what I love is that you two don't necessarily share religious
right correct
sensibilities.
Correct.
Right. But you've been married for 31 years. And what I also love is, and this is, what I think is so profound is that there's no contradiction, I don't believe,
no
between plant medicine and belief in Jesus Christ or Muhammad or Buddha or any. It's a gift from the mother that brings us closer to her, a gift from nature.
Absolutely. I'm not a biblical scholar. I read the Bible. I go to Bible study, and I cannot tell you how many times there were references by either a shaman, by you, by others, that you can go find you can go find that statement in the Bible. So it's totally and completely consistent. And that was a worry that I had, to be honest with you, about coming here.
Great.
I was concerned about whether or not there was going to be a situation where my basis for my faith was going to be challenged and perhaps maybe even had to be rejected in order to go through this experience. And that all of that got dashed, all those concern got dashed during the breath of life that 30 minutes after we got here. And that's when I knew that I could participate in this program, that it was not going to challenge my core beliefs, that they were totally in line, as Lori said, it might have always been in line. So if there's anyone that's concerned about whether or not, if you're a Muslim or Jewish or Hindu or Christian, whether or not that your faith, the basis for your faith will be challenged, the answer to that is no. So
I would agree so wholeheartedly. Wonderful. I want to just look here, and I'm sorry because I have to look across, but people have made some comments. Cheryl's there saying she's grateful. I'm grateful for you too, Cheryl. Hello, Martin. Hello, Martin just a heart from Martin. Hello from California from Maria. Hi, Susan. Very powerful, very powerful. Thank you. I just wanted to say hi to everybody who commented. Thank you for commenting. Jeff and Lori, thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
very much.
And I'm not trying to put a plug in here, but you could not. This was a hard week. It was a working week. There wasn't a whole lot of sleep, but this has been one of the more productive weeks I've had in many, many, many years. Because you come out of the ayahuasca ceremony at 2:00 in the morning. Come on, let me just find the bed. And you think you're just going to be beat down like a what. And the next day you find out, I want some more of this.
I want to see what's next.
For like I said, for people like me, and so many, everyone here was like me. That's the thing. We met a guy from Dublin that's just his story was different than mine. But all you had to do was change the names. Guy from Germany, same thing. People from Southern California. We were the only Texans I think were here
This time, yeah.
this time. But if we have anything.
Wow,
else
that's
here-
crazy.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, such a small state.
Well, this is something that we will be talking about with people, and so.
Well, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for you saying yes to this interview. I'm grateful for your presence here this week. I'm grateful for your presence here today, and wishing you peace and richest blessings.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
so much.
Bye-bye.